opening statement, a 2-minute response for the questions, and then 3 minutes for a closing statement. With that, we will have Canales start.
Good afternoon, and I want to thank the Chamber for allowing us this opportunity to share our vision. My name is Lorraine Canales, and I am running for District 6. 24 years ago, I moved to Pomona, bought my first home, and raised my 2 wonderful children. My daughter is now serving as a United States Marine Corps, Marine, hoorah, and my son is a musician and attending college. I attended Cal State LA, and I earned a credential in teaching and a credential in PPS counseling. Over 30 years, I have been a high school counselor, and I've worked in Pomona. And through my work in Pomona, I have gained valuable insight into the community needs. And that is what inspired me to run for city council. I have been an active member and volunteer within various organizations deeply committed to making a positive impact. I have walked and talked to thousands of residents and businesses and understand the community needs. Many people have expressed their concerns with safety and economic growth. As your representative, I will collaborate with local and state leaders to work on increasing revenue to improve city services, because without revenue, we can't do very much in our city. I will work closely with our police and fire department to tackle critical issues like community violence, crime, and the concerns about the lack of response time. Our first responders are doing a great job, but they are limited with staff and facing many challenges that the laws that are in place. I will address many issues such as tenant issues, landlord issues, working together to build a better relationship. I will definitely work with our sports programs and our businesses. Thank you. Before I start, let's give it up again for Lorraine. That was amazing. Lorraine just whispered to me, this is my first time doing this. I wouldn't know. I would not have known. She did a great job. So let's give it to Lorraine. Thank you, Lorraine.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here again. My name is Miranda Sheffield. I am also running for Pomona City Council District 6. I'm excited to be here because I know that this is part of the civic engagement process for voters, for business owners, for others to hear about who we are and why we are deciding to take on these roles. I have lived here in Pomona for the last 23 years. The way that I came to Pomona, and this is something I always like to state because there are a lot of Pomona Unified School District children that grew up like me. I came here via the foster care system. And I wasn't supposed to stay here. That was 23 years ago. But now, after raising my daughter here, who's now in college, and who's making her mama very proud, I am also, my profession, I'm currently a teacher. I teach at Cal State LA as a professor. And I have also worked here in the city and on 2 different commissions. I've served as a Cultural and Arts Commissioner. I've also served as the first ever created Police Oversight Commission. And I am really excited to be able to bring a very fresh and needed perspective. I think that would be an asset to the city around a lot of these issues that we're facing. And also being able to not just only speak to the only people who show up to the city council, but also for the people who may not be able to make it all the time to these city council meetings. So I'm really excited to be here. I'm excited to be able to share with you why I feel I am the best candidate for this role. And I look forward to having more conversation this evening. Thank you.
First and most important question. So we talked about time travel, and I'll just for the record, I didn't want any of these questions by Monique to begin with, so this is also for her as well. I picked a question, and then I saw Councilmember Preciado walk in with a shirt about tacos, and as I started getting hungry, so I decided to change the last question. The other questions are about exploring, leaving. This one's going to be in Pomona. So your favorite restaurant. And I was going to pick favorite taco place, but I can start some more. So favorite restaurant, any type of food within the city of Pomona.
Oh my gosh, this is so unfair. Oh, this is hard. Food is so good in Pomona. Well, just because I was just there yesterday, I would say Los Janitos, because that's what I grew up on. I think they're amazing, and they're one of the, I just want to throw them out there. They've been here since 1986, and I think those nachos always keep me inspired to keep going on.
Wow, this is a hard question for me because the restaurants, let me see. I think it would be Coco Palm because of the atmosphere. The food, I love unique food. I think that it brings a culture to our city. It's a beautiful place. You get to see all of Pomona as you eat, and the drinks are amazing. And so I would say Coco Palm.
All right, very good. So Lorraine will start the first real question for you. So some of these questions you've heard other candidates already talk about, so this is your opportunity to expand on something they said or give your own ideas to those. So one of the topics that we already mentioned was the city's in its first year of a waste disposal contract with Athens Services. While the contract is an exclusive 10-year franchise agreement, there have been a growing number of complaints. What is your opinion on how the contract is currently being managed? And what would you say to the business owners who feel they are being treated unfairly with potential rising costs that residential customers are not subject to?
Well, to begin with, I don't think that having a 10-year contract, or 20-year contract, actually 10, is confirmed, but I don't think it was a great decision. I have evaluated the contract and have many concerns. I do believe that the council needs to bring it back to the table and work with Athens to negotiate the concerns that have affected our businesses and our landlords. I have some concerns because I know some business owners here, some landlords who have been affected. I mean, for the businesses, I think it's a big concern because their trash went up, it was exuberant. And for the landlords, I mean, they're tied right now because I think with our landlords, they're expected to pay the extra costs in addition to fix the properties, and in addition to, keep the 4% renters. So I just think that it's something that we need to bring back to the table in order for us to be able to deal with what's going on. I do think that, there is a demand that the state is requiring us to do, and I know that we have to be in compliance, but I think that we can work with the Athens. I do think that one of the things I am concerned about is, as I read the contract, the Athens is having to pay back the city quite a bit of money, every year. So why can't they use that money to alleviate the cost that's affecting our landlords and our tenants and our businesses? So I think that it needs to change.
The fun part of answering this question and being the last candidates to come out, it's always great to speak to this one because it's such a big concern. We previously had a forum where this question was brought up, and as I mentioned on there, my thing about this is that this was not something that the city felt that it had we're going to change these different waste disposal companies. It was a mandate that was put through the state. And because it was a mandate, it required the city to have to make difficult choices about who they were going to take on to make sure they were in compliance with this. So what I have said is that it put the city in a difficult position, and I think that the only concern that I've had is that I know that it was some time that there was the community involvement piece. I think this seemed like it needed a little bit more time, a little bit more massaging to really prepare business owners, to prepare residents around how this was going to be implemented. Because I think what helped me was that our city had our meetings where, at Palomar's Park, and it was hearing directly from folks about what this was, how this was going to be implemented and what it looked like, versus what you just hear on the internet and what you're hearing from other folks who may have concerns. So I think it would have been beneficial for the city to make this a little bit easier on everyone, to really have the breakdown about why we are having to be put in this position and why we have to follow through this mandate. And I think it would have been beneficial also for us to explore. I think 10 years is a bit of a long time for us to be in this situation, and I think it would have helped us to maybe explore some other options around that.
I'd like to be the first to ask the question. So, long-term owners of industrial properties, distribution-oriented or fulfillment-oriented industry uses in the city of Pomona and their tenants provide good paying and skilled jobs for residents of Pomona and neighboring communities. Some industrial property owners feel there's unfair treatment towards industrial-oriented development and redevelopment, even though there are potential benefits such as workforce development, LEED certified facilities, and tax revenue within the city. What would be your approach to address this business community that could potentially promote economic growth and environmental sustainability? And this has to do with some of the warehouse discussions.
Thank you for that question. I think Pomona did a really great thing when we put forward the warehouse moratorium, because I think what we have been trying to address is how we needed to update some of our general plans and things around zoning for the city. And I think that was a need for us to do a warehouse moratorium. I also believe that we need to have strong businesses in our city at the same time. And I think that the way that we go about having these businesses, I am someone who cares deeply about the environment. I think that particularly while I am running in District 6, I'm very well aware that South Pomona has a lot of environmental concerns, a lot of issues that are not always addressed, I think, in the ways of how people need to understand why we are asking for some of these business owners that want to come in and do business in our city to kind of put the brakes on it a little bit. In order for us to be able to do these things in an efficient manner, there needs to be a balanced approach where we are saying we do want business in our city, but at the same time, we have to be able to look at the landscape and look at density and be able to see how beneficial these things are overall going to be for our city.
I think we need to identify what industrial property owners feel that is unfair treatment. I think we need to continue to invest in warehouses because we only have 6% in our city. And I think that we can work to invest in more in warehouses. I think only because it can bring tax revenue to our city, and without revenue, we have no way to fix our city. It also brings good jobs and skilled jobs, and with that, we can have our residents have good jobs in our city to be able to pay for their rent and hopefully eventually own and rent their own homes in Pomona. I think that if we invest and work with the green space and the pollution and all the things that come along with it, we can work together to invest in programs that would help the warehouses. But I really believe that we need warehouses to bring better jobs and for our residents so that people can work, live, and purchase homes in our city of Pomona.
So the last question we have is, if elected, what are your top 2 priorities that you will work on within the first 90 days to improve the city, and what are your plans to accomplish them?
My 2 top priorities is safety and economic growth. I am honored to be endorsed by our police and our businesses because those are my 2 top priorities, and I need to build a positive relationship with our police and with our businesses in order to focus on the 2 top priorities that I believe in. But before I begin to tackle these issues, I think it's important that as a new council member, that I begin to build communication with all staff members, understand the city budget, work closely with our city council, city manager, and each department at the City Hall to identify the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the work environment. I will identify what are the best practices and create goals for improvement. I will connect with the community-based organizations and our first responders to tackle the unhoused issues, the growing concern with prostitution and human trafficking, build upon communications between our city employees and our community to ensure everyone is treated with respect. I want to improve and streamline the process and procedures for a more business-friendly atmosphere at our City Hall, address affordable housing, renter and property owner concerns, and our infrastructure maintenance. Thank you.
Yes, so for this question, I think for me, when I'm thinking about my top 2 priorities for the city of Pomona, one of them that's most important for me is housing. I'm currently a board member of Pomona United for Stabilized Housing. I've been doing a lot of work in the last 5 to 6 years around housing for our city. We were part of helping to push a rent stabilization ordinance to help relieve a lot of the renters here in Pomona. There's over 47% of renters are here in Pomona, so something like that is very necessary to help address this concern. I want to continue to do work in that manner to expand those types of policies and programs for those who are under rent burden. Right now, where most, or 30% or more of their check is going towards rent. I also, in my district specifically, a lot of the people I've been knocking their doors, the people that I've been talking to and having conversations with, they have said, I want to have places I can take my kids. I want to be able to go somewhere and have activities. I think there is a missed opportunity in my district where we don't have regular activated opportunities for kids to go to, things around arts and culture. That's one of my top priorities within the first 90 days of being in this seat, is to be able to provide more spaces for youth and for families to enjoy themselves and not have to feel like they have to go out of the city for these opportunities. So housing and activating the district is really what my top concerns are for as a future elected official.
Time for final statements. So we'll start with Miranda for 3 minutes.
So, first of all, again, thank you to the Pomona Chamber of Commerce for taking the time to host us. I'm excited that at least 2 of us were able to be here and to be able to show how important it is for us to show up and be in front of the community and to be able to let the community know, business owners and residents, that we're here. And I think for me, the one thing I really want to express about why I'm so excited to run for city council, I came here 23 years ago at 15 after having to move around to numerous foster homes, okay? And I feel that there is always that one moment of growing up in Pomona where I will not be able to sit here and be telling you about running for office. I feel that that's already a big deal, to be able to sit here and to tell you after everything that has happened to me and my family, I'm able to come here and say I'm excited about running for office. I'm excited about having the opportunity to represent the Pomona residents here. And a lot of that comes from putting in the work. Okay, so when I'm coming up here and saying I'm running for city council, it's not saying that I want to do things. It's saying that I have been doing things in the city. I have come to the table to address different concerns. A lot of folks who's been talking about human trafficking. One of my previous roles I had at the Children's Law Center, I was a case manager, and I worked with a lot of these young people. I also have a very strong educational background. I have my Cal LA, I got my bachelor's. I also have a master's degree in human rights law, and I feel all of these things that I have are going to be assets for the city of Pomona. And we need to be able to have a diversity of opinions of people on the dais to be able to really truly move us forward and to be able to represent levels of equity around the different concerns that are taking place. So what I'm asking of you is to really truly look and to see which of us as candidates for District 6 are the ones who really are coming as an independent leader to be able to represent. Not someone who's been asked to run, not someone who is running because this is the next best thing for them to do, but truly is running because they want to serve the community. I thank you so much for your time, and I thank you for your consideration for our vote for Miranda for Pomona.
Thank you for allowing me to share my vision, to share my concerns, to share what I want to do for Pomona. And I have not only lived here in Pomona, but I've also worked in Pomona. I have been a member of many boards and committees that serve many nonprofit organizations that cover a plethora of community involvement dedicating to serve our community. I have participated in community cleanups, feeding and distributing the homeless. I work with the Red Cross to help senior citizens have a safer home. I actually worked with the COVID. I also worked with God's Pantry to serve those who were in need during COVID. I also volunteer in the community quite often, and I've worked with our Pomona Police Community Engagement and many organizations, but also with City Hall with Parks and Recreation. And to name a few, I have been recognized by several awards. I have been given several awards. I received the Pomona Goddess Award, State Assembly Teacher of the Year Award, the LA County Fair Community Hero, the Optimist Distinguished Citation President's Award, Rotary of the Year, State Assembly Woman of the Year, and I also received, which was impressive to me, a Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award from our President Joe Biden for my community service. It has been my life's work, and I have helped thousands of students to plan for life after high school and guide them to achieve excellent careers. I have developed tutoring programs, I support mental health, I've created many scholarships, and I connect with many organizations that help students succeed. I am actually the president of the Optimist, I'm a member of Rotary, Assistance League of Pomona, a member of the Eagles, and I'm on the, I work with the, I have so many different as the president of the Optimist, I lead and organize an annual recognition event for our outstanding work of our first responders. And actually, I also honor, we had an event here last night where we honored students, I honor teachers, and I honor schools. Thank you. And I am looking forward to being your representative to continue the work. I am now a retired educator who I've worked 40 years in education, and I want to continue the work to work with our youth because I honestly believe that it is our youth that's going to impact our future. Thank you.
Thank you again for all the candidates that joined us tonight. Thank you guys for sticking it out this last 3 hours. You guys could be somewhere else on a Friday night, but you choose to be here with us. I do want to encourage you guys that if you want to stick around, network. Unfortunately, Fuego, they do have an event tonight, so we can continue networking and speaking outside in the area. The bar is also open, so you guys can go outside. Don't forget to vote March 5th. Your vote is